Good afternoon and welcome to the Small Business Cheerleader podcast. I'm Nicola Willis from NW Marketing, the Small Business Cheerleader. I'm joined by MG today from Be Think Do Coaching. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No worries at all. We're going to be talking about being unstoppable in business today, and we're going to be dropping some truth bombs on how you as a small business owner can stop getting stuck and being overwhelmed in your business journey. And let's introduce you to our listeners first. How did you get to be in this realm and helping small business owners in coaching and helping them be unstoppable?
Okay, this is such a great place to start. There's quite a lot. It can be a long story, so I'm going to give you the short version, right? If you want the long version, you can read my book, which I'll send you the link to. But basically what I do is I work with female entrepreneurs who are feeling stuck in their business and help them to unleash the unstoppable version of themselves and become unstoppable in their business, so that despite the natural ups and downs that we have, you're still on an upwards trajectory. And so that's ultimately what we want overall, right, in business, is to still be in momentum, to still be in that upwards trajectory. And it comes back to mindset. And that's how I got into this. I started off as I was a personal trainer, actually. If we go all the way back to my first business, I was a personal trainer. And I learned a lot about mindset being a personal trainer. If anyone's ever worked with a personal trainer, it's half of it is about the movement. The rest of it is actually about kicking your butt and making you move. And that comes back to mindset, right? And so when I was in my personal training role, I started looking for mindset related training that I could do and qualifications that I could do to help my clients. And I came across neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and hypnotherapy, and went and studied those things thinking that this was going to be helpful for my clients. Not surprisingly, it ended up being very helpful for me personally. And it's helped me diversify the way that I do business, because I can see so much possibility by utilizing an unstoppable mindset. And I then we moved towns, and I didn't want to start my new personal training business in the next town. I was like, oh my God, the thought of it was like, I've got to start again. I was already doing mindset coaching as a part of it. So I moved into mindset coaching, specifically for mums with young kids. I'm a mum with young kids, and a lot of it came back to fitness anyway. You know, it's one of the things that we can do for ourselves to feel better about ourselves. But as that progressed, after about 18 months, I started having a lot of coaches coming to me and saying, how did you get so successful in your mindset coaching business? So that then progressed into me helping other coaches develop their skills in business, because I also have a business marketing degree from 16 years ago now. Things have changed a lot in business and marketing since then. You know, there was no social media. There was a bit of MySpace, and that's about it. But that wasn't really about business at that point in time. And so I was able to start utilizing all of these skills that I had in one place. You know, I was helping other business owners. At that point, it was just coaches with their mindset and their marketing, and just the knowledge that I'd learned over the last few years of putting myself out there in front of audiences and growing that client base, and really enjoyed that. I feel like I've got to a point now where I can see this being my long-term business. I've had that many kind of variations of business in the past, and even career. So I haven't even mentioned I was also a teacher.
I love that. I see that in your stories. I just love the whole evolution of where you've got to now.
Exactly, right. And I think there's an evolution in career, and I think that's just part of the way we operate now, but also just within our business, you know, the evolution in our business and following that journey based on what feels aligned for you and always changing. But I definitely feel that, like I said, right now, where what I'm serving, who I'm serving, and the work that I'm doing feels so good. I can see it actually being something that I stick to for quite a while, because for me, one of my highest values is impact, and I can see the ripple effect of helping other business owners, because that allows them to help the people they serve as well, which just lights me up.
Yeah, that is 100%. And that is what I think people are missing in their journey in business somewhat, is that alignment. And when you find it, like you just said, you really know, don't you? You know that you're getting up every day because you're making an impact, and you know that you can see that going towards their business and their clients. And I love that as well, in seeing
100%.
that journey, that growth. It's amazing, because this is going to lead me to our first question about what are the most common reasons people feel stuck in business. Because you and I both know with clients that we work with that people seem to come to us because they have a blockage of some sort. They know they want to do business, they know they have a passion for what it is they do, but they feel stuck in how to grow that, or whether it is a mindset thing or the business structure or all of it together. What are you finding from working with your clients? What is the main reason that people are getting stuck?
I think the main reason comes back to fear. And even if it is strategy, okay, that they need in order to get unstuck in their business, sometimes there is a fear of, what if that strategy doesn't work? Or how do I actually show up as that person? I'm not that person. I'm not that successful business person. Or it might be a fear of what other people think as well. Even as we get more successful in business, our family and friends no longer feel like they relate to us because we're this different person, and we like the person we've become, but maybe family and friends don't understand you anymore. And that brings us to that feeling of fear, because, well, we have this human need of belonging. And so most of the time people will come to me to work with me and say, look, I'm not making the revenue I want to make, or I'm not getting the clients that I want to get, or that kind of thing. But when we unpack it, it comes down to a fear of something. Okay, it really depends, but most of the time it comes back to that needing to belong, that fear of judgment, that fear of failure is a big one too. And yes, I want to do this amazing strategy, I want to think big, but what if I fail? And fearing the feeling of failing is a big one too, because we've all experienced failure, and most of us have been wired to believe that that's a bad thing. But one of the things that I help to teach my clients is that failure is actually really powerful. It's a very important part of business, and that nothing is really a failure. It's all feedback. But then what can we do with that? And yeah, I think I've kind of moved into other parts of a different question now, because I get on a roll, I'm going, oh my God, there's so much I could say about this.
It's so true though, because it's all intermingled. That's what we were saying to begin with. It's just basically, it's not one thing. We think it is. We come to a coach, or we go to look for answers for one issue, but ultimately it is something completely different. And then that's where a coach can help you unpack all of that to actually find an action plan forward. Because I know that I have a lot of clients, when we're talking marketing strategy, that say that, oh, I want to do this. This is what I want to do with my business. And when we unpack why they're in business, what impact they want to have with their business, they then find that they actually have a good niche, and they know something else aligned that they really want to do. And so unpacking all of that with the deeper work, I think, allows them to become unstuck, doesn't it? Because you're getting to the reasons why, not just the, I want to do this because of everyone else, or I'm following someone else's blueprint that works. And they're stuck, aren't they? Because it's not really them. And exactly. I think it's getting over that part of thinking you have to be like everyone else, or, well, this works for Jane, so I have to do it. And that's where I find a lot of people get stuck, and doing the work into what aligns into them and their business and the impact they want to make. I think that's where you can open up, can't you? And using the NLP and really getting into the why we do what we do.
Yeah, the value that you bring is in your values. So knowing what obviously your business values, but your personal values as well, because when it lights you up, your energy is different and the way you show up is different. And there is no blueprint that fits everyone. Yes, there is the whole theory that success leaves clues, and absolutely look at successful people in your industry for inspiration. But at the end of the day, your success is not going to be following the exact steps that they took. I see so many ads, follow the exact steps that I took to make X amount of money. It's like, it won't work for everyone. because at the end of the day, it's got to be you. And in fact, it's what makes you be more successful, is that it is you that's doing it, because that's part of your unique selling proposition in a lot of ways, is that no one else is you.
No, and no one else has had the journey you've had. No one else has the experiences you've had. And especially when it comes to what lights you up. I do a lot of work with my clients on vision, mission, and core values before we even start strategy, because knowing where you want your business ultimately to be in 10 years, and then, setting together your big audacious, hairy goals, like your BHAGs, sort of set you up it gears you up, what lights me up. And then you can work on, well, who needs the offer that I'm putting out there, and what benefit, what impact am I going to have with that? And then you can start identifying your ideal client and really putting a message out that's going to attract aligned customers, isn't it? Or prospective people to work with. And I think that is where success comes from, having people attracted, hell yes, customers, clients, because they get what you want to do, the difference you want to make. You must have that with people that are drawn to you because you show up as yourself, and people are drawn to you because of your history, your journey, and they know they can learn from you. And I think that's important, that it's because it's you, not because of you're following a strategy like everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you say that, because this year I started a 12-month program, and 12 months is quite a commitment to work with someone. And I will be honest, I was a bit nervous, but I knew that I felt aligned with the offer, and I had my ideal client avatar. I knew who I wanted to attract into this space. And again, I have my vision. I had the vision of the program too. And I knew that what I was putting into this was aligned with what feels good for me to offer. And honestly, the group of women that is in there is just phenomenal. There are so many times I'm saying to my assistant, Nicole, can you believe these women? Aren't they incredible? Like, they're so committed, they're so engaged, they're so active. And I know that it comes down to having that clarity on who I want to serve and the impact I want to make, and that vision as well.
Yeah, and that comes from that work. Again, like you're saying, knowing what impact you want to have, knowing where you want to see your business, and then crafting your offer based on that, and then finding out who is your ideal client who would want the benefits of that offer. That work is imperative, and that clarity is what I do in my work and you do in yours, because we know the difference it makes, and we can see it from what, the impact that we've had with clients we've worked with, and ourselves in our own businesses. I think people forget that, people are drawn to the journey you've had yourself. I've had to pivot through COVID when retail work dried up with shopping centers, because of course COVID, everyone was worried and all the shopping centers were all closed basically. So I had to pivot, and I did a 360 in what I offered. But that came from, having a greater understanding of what it was I wanted to do. And it gave me the choice to do that. And I think you've done that, as you said, in finding out what then lit you up, trying to work with your fitness clients, and then going from there. So that journey is just a natural one. And I think people are drawn to people who have similar journeys, or the journey they've seen you on. They know that you have the experience that can help them. And I think that's important. Now, the second question I want to ask is what does it mean to be unstoppable in business? Because when I think of you, I think of Unstoppables because of your program and all the things that you do on your socials. So what does that mean in business when you say unstoppable?
Being unstoppable in business means knowing that there's going to be fear and failures, and doing it anyway. So there is that book, right? What is it? Feel the fear,
and do it anyway. Yeah.
I have not read the book, but I know exactly what it says, because, well, no, I don't know exactly what it says, but I get the gist. I'm not going to read the book, because I just know from the title, it's understanding that fear is a natural part of the journey, and you can use fear to fuel you, or you can use fear to stop you. Yeah. And most of the time we fear itself, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that stops us. So you just determine what your vision is, you determine your action steps, you get the clarity, you're excited, but you're fearful, because what if it doesn't work out? What will people think of me? Whatever it is, whatever those fear-based thoughts or emotions that come up, being unstoppable means working through that fear and doing it anyway, knowing that whatever is on the other side is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. And that's the saying that I love, is everything you've ever wanted, you know, that saying, is on the other side of fear. And
exactly.
the more you can get into that mindset, isn't it, that everything you've ever wanted is right there. You know, you just have to be able to be in the mindset to take it and risk it not working, but knowing you'll learn more than the fear of not doing it. You know, that feeling of never having taken a chance. I think that that has to be worse than the actual action. If it doesn't work, you learn fast, fail fast, and you test things. That's what I say to people. Test it. If you've got an offer you think is going to work, test it. If it doesn't, fail fast, keep going. If you get stuck in that spiral, you've probably seen it, they get in that spiral, and the spiral is, I'm no good. Here comes the fear again. I'm no good. People don't want what I've got to offer, which is 98% of the time bullshit, because people want what you have. You just don't have confidence enough in what it is you do to have that clarity. I think that's the most important thing people need to realize too.
And, you know, confidence is a word that not a lot of people feel they can really resonate with. And when, you know, we talk about being confident in business, some people go, well, I just don't feel confident. So one of the things that I like to teach my clients is to find a feeling that you can feel that is like a stepping stone to those bigger feelings. So for example, with confidence, think about how I can be courageous instead, because we've all been courageous at some point. We've all had to be. You know, I do work with a lot of mums still who are in business. And I mean, just being a mother is courageous. You've got to make courageous decisions all the time. If you can't see it in your work, see it in your daily life, the times that you've been courageous, and then implement that into your business and the way you make decisions as well. And that's the other thing, is being unstoppable means making decisions and not stuffing around avoiding decisions. But that does take a mindset shift. You know, it's knowing that when you make a decision, it just starts you off in momentum. If for whatever reason it turns out to not be the right decision, and for those of you on YouTube, you can see me going that, like, there's no such thing as the right decision, basically. I'm putting it in inverted commas, because whatever decision you make, whether it's right or wrong, is going to give you an opportunity to learn, and it gets you into momentum, which helps you to be unstoppable. Because once you're in momentum, it's easier to pivot, right? It's like if you're sitting in a car, and I love this analogy, if you're driving a car and you're already in momentum, it's easy to turn the steering wheel and take a slightly different route or a detour, right? Or, you know, turn directions and go in a slightly different direction. If you are sitting in the car and the car is not moving, and you're just trying to turn the steering wheel and you're sitting on the concrete and it's like, you know, it's hard to go anywhere because you're not already in momentum. So just making a decision helps you get the wheel spinning, helps you get into momentum, and then you can change your damn mind if you want to. That's okay.
Yeah, and that's a prerogative. I mean, how many, and it's the whole, so okay, for those on YouTube, the dog wants me to cover him up. So, you know, there's always something that needs to be done. So
it is cold.
It's where he sits. For those of you on the socials, that's Office Dog Dash. So when we are in momentum, and I love the whole thing of just start. You know, the whole Nike, just do it, just start. That's what I tell most of my clients when we first get together. Just start. Whatever that looks like, you know, use whatever you have, you know, network with whoever you've got, you know, just start. Because we always think we have to have the perfect launch plan. We have to have the perfect social grid. We have to have the content, which comes with experience. But by just starting, it has to be the best way. And you will meet people like you and I on socials, have met through socials and networking groups. And there's so many things that you can just start. And I think that's the most important thing.
And you can just work with what you've got in that moment.
Just, you know,
there's always something you've got.
there's a quote I put up just the other day, which had, just start. And it's true with the whole thing of just use what you've got. What do you have now that you can use? Who do you know now that you can network with? Where can you go to show up in front of your ideal client? Is it socials? Is it Facebook groups? Is it networking groups? Is it conferences? I do a lot of work in my brain dump sessions, which are my 2-hour sessions in, where are your ideal clients and how can you show up in front of them? And that makes it simple in regards to strategies, as opposed to the whole world. You think you have to be everything to everyone. Niche down to start and just start. Now, I want to know from your journey, what are the biggest hurdles you've had to overcome when we're talking about just start, confronting fear, pivoting? What would be your biggest hurdles and how did you overcome them to give people listening some sort of confidence boost that they too can do it?
I think there's probably two that come to mind that are really obvious. The first hurdle was the expectation that I would be successful and have 6-figure years within a year, and thinking, oh yeah, I've seen all these ads where people are making 5-figure months within 5 seconds and I'm going to be that person. And realizing that it is actually a long game. There's no overnight success. And I've got to the point now where I look back and I'm like, actually, that was pretty fast, really. But at the time, it has felt very slow. And that, I think, is why I have moved into working with people to unleash their unstoppability, because you have to be unstoppable to get through that. I know I don't have any stats, so I'm going to make up a number here. I think about 95% of people are not overnight successes in their business, right? It's probably more than 95%, it's probably 99.9.
Yeah.
And yet from what we see on socials, we assume, or, what we see in ads, we assume that everyone, just hits the ground running because we see the highlight reel, and that's not the case. So that's been a huge hurdle for me to overcome. I don't know if you know much about human design, but I'm a manifesting generator by human design, which means that I want everything and I want it now.
Oh, and I'm the opposite. I'm a projector. So I want to sit there as a lighthouse and wait for people to come to me and attract them, because I don't do the manifesting. I love human design. It is amazing.
Yes. And, it's interesting that you're a projector, because I often end up talking to and working with projectors. I attract a lot of projectors into my arena, and projectors are a very small percentage of the population.
I know, I didn't realize that. And I didn't realize that, to work a completely different way to attract and, ask for invites and, that whole, and I went, oh my God, that is me. How is that even possible that people get me on this? Yeah, I only experienced that probably the last 6 months. So that was something that was an eye-opener for me, and how manifesting generators work, and, wow, bang, 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 got to do. Really interesting.
Yes. So, and that's probably been a big learning curve for me as well. I think probably the other boundary that I would share, and I know a lot of people will resonate with, is, did I say the other boundary? Or did I say that? No, I was thinking, did I just say the answer during the question? Anyway.
Oh, well, people need, what do people need to hear things 7 times to get it? So let's just keep going with it. Just do it. Say it again.
So the other thing is boundaries. That's the hurdle that I've had to overcome, especially as a mum with young kids, especially as an ambitious woman who wants to go out there and get shit done. I have gone through many stages where I have not had any boundaries. And I've been working 7 days a week, and I've been burnt out, and I've been grumpy mum, and it's led to burnout. It's led to mental health issues. And even though I know the things that I need to do, when I am in that state of, oh my gosh, I want to get so much done, I have to really focus on bringing it back to the boundaries that I need to implement in order to set myself up for success, not just my business up for success, but for me personally. And I know it's interesting because a lot of people think, oh, being unstoppable means you go, go, go. Actually, no.
Yeah.
It means you know how to friggin' stop.
Yeah.
So game, sometimes,
it's the long game for us, let alone our business, just for us to keep the long game as a mum in business. It's hard work. We all know that, but sometimes we forget to look after that.
Yes, and there's guilt around it as well. Like, I live in Albany, so I'm in country WA, and to be honest, there's not a lot of mums that even work full time down here. And here's me, like, you know, working full time, going away for networking events, you know, like traveling to Perth just to connect with people, all of that kind of thing. And so again, it comes back to me having to deal with my own fears of judgment and all that kind of stuff to set the boundaries I need to set for myself to feel good and know that that's actually important for my family. It's important for my community. It's important for my clients. It's important for my entire vision, you know, even if it feels uncomfortable setting those boundaries sometimes, I need to do it in order to be unstoppable.
Yeah, yeah, that's 100%. I've been working myself since my youngest was 7 months and he's now 15. And I know that is boundaries are so important, but really hard to keep. And they change as the children change because, you know, I used to love working for myself because I could go and do kindy duty and I could do this and that. But then who's working at night to catch up? So, you know, there's boundaries, but then you've also got to make sure that, you know, you're actually adhering to them. Otherwise, you're still going to get the burnout because you're still trying to juggle all the balls. And, you know, it's one of those things that I think you come to grips with eventually, but it still changes is what I'm saying. So always be checking in with yourself, isn't it? What is it? Where am I in my business now, in my family, and what does boundaries look like now? For me, it might be putting my phone in another room from 7 o'clock onwards. Just that little thing alone makes it harder for me to just pick up and scroll.
That so extra layer of having to go and pick it up.
Whatever you're more likely to do. I always have my phone charging next to me on the couch and I would always just pick it up. So I've started putting it in the front room. A lot harder, especially in the cold weather, to get up and actually do that. So what does it look like for you? You know, and if it's yoga, you know, have you got, instead of, I've got to do a 45-minute class, can you do a 15-minute online one that you can put in before or after you've dropped the kid? You know, all those little things. Again, it's just start, isn't it? Just start with the little things and you'll find that you can be more in control of it.
There's some great books on it too. You know, if you get anything from James Clear, his Atomic Habits book, just, you know, start so small that you can't say no and then rinse and repeat because it does change all the time. And another book, I love books, by the way, that's recently come out, Stolen Focus by Johan Hari. And he talks about how our focus is being drawn away from us through technology at the moment because that's what big tech wants, you know. So we have to actually check in with our boundaries on a regular basis. And now that is part of what I do with my group coaching program. Every group coaching session, one of the questions I ask them is to rate their boundaries on a scale of 1 to 10 right now, because it's not about judgment and going, oh shit, I'm back down to a 2, you know, that woe is me, I shouldn't be doing that. It's going, okay, cool. This is where I am right now. What can I do to shift that for the next month? And then check in again the next month. Okay, where am I at with my boundaries? What do I need to update and change? What boundaries do I need to set? Because if we have that regular reminder to check in without judgment of ourselves, then we can make those small changes. And over time, it's small changes that add up to big results.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, one for me, just as an example of that sort of thing, was I was constantly, whenever I went for a walk or wherever I was in the car, I had to constantly do audiobooks. I felt like I was wasting time. If I was walking for 45 minutes or driving for 45 minutes, if I wasn't listening to something business orientated on Audible, I was wasting time. And then what happened is my brain overloaded on way too much information in, you know, over a period of a long time. So what I did was I went for a walk and left my phone. That's it. My phone doesn't come on my walk. And
it's so hard to do the first time you do it, isn't it? I've done it by accident before and I've been like, what do I do?
Isn't it? And you feel like it should be, you should have something in your ears so now I walk with the dog and I just walk. And the amount of downloads for my business I've had since I did that 6 months ago are amazing. I come back downloaded with so much more information because I've actually got space. It's just space. It's amazing what not filling your cup and your brain with all this stuff actually allows you to have space to come up with new ideas. So I just think sometimes a little thing, if you know it's probably a bit too much for your brain, a little bit of a step back can sometimes help you go forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it's so funny you said that, because it is literally when I do my 90-day planning sessions with my clients, we talk about strategy, we talk about mindset, but the third component is called space for magic.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool. We've got this great strategy. We've got the mindset tools that are going to help you get there. But how are you going to create space outside of that for nothing, even if it feels uncomfortable, like going for a walk without your phone, so that you can have those moments for downloads? It's why so many of us have downloads in the shower, right? Because we can't have our phones on us in the shower. We can't watch the TV. I mean, maybe you might have a TV set up in your bathroom, but generally you're not, you know, and we're
I do.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It is possible,
not for
right?
showers. That's when we're in the spa. That's when a download time. I mean, I know that my old business coach Ruby Lee, was her biggest downloads, I loved that, used to come in the shower and she would write them in the steam. So, you know, stuff like that, where it's so hot in there and you just really, and you can actually even just have downloads like that sort of stuff. And I think that that's really the whole idea. I sort of, you know, visualizing that in the concept, but, you know, that whole of not having any other distractions, that you can actually just download stuff. And I think that that's amazing. And that again makes you unstoppable, because of that thing, like you're saying, you're getting unstuck, you're releasing yourself from all of the, you know, audible social media emails that we all get, which we need, we understand that, but sometimes just half an hour away from it will allow you to process it all and give it space to process. You can't just keep listening to it. That's what I found, just audible after audible, after book after book, after podcast after podcast. I realized I was not giving myself any real time to download any of that information into how that looks for my business.
And implementation.
That's where the overwhelm was coming. I wasn't giving myself enough time to actually download it into how I could make it work. And once I did that, I was like, all right, there you go. There's the magic, as you said, isn't it?
And it seems really difficult to do at first, because you think, well, I have to do all of these things, right? And I don't have the time to do nothing because I have to do all of these things, and we can feel overwhelmed. But the magic is when you stop doing all of those things all the time, when you do those things, you do them with so much more clarity that you get them done so much quicker, because you're so much more focused.
Yeah, procrastination is an absolute bitch. The procrastination monster, when that gets you, just write off the whole day, start again another day, because you're just going to sit there in a perpetual motion of putting stuff off. Do you know the eat the frog mentality? Yes. And when I did sales coaching ages ago, that was a big thing as part of it. And it was like, I have trouble with that. That's my main. I need to eat the frog more often. And I tend to put those ones that need more of my attention till the afternoon. And get them done, get it out the way, and you're much more proactive. I highly recommend researching
Eat the Frog. Yeah, definitely. I think it just makes your day go a lot more smoothly, and then you feel inspired to get things done in the afternoon, and you're already on a roll.
Yeah, and you're ticking stuff off. It's, you know, that dopamine hit. If you've got that big project and you're ticking that bastard off in the morning, your day is like, I am unstoppable. I have got this. I am a queen. Like the whole mindset. But if it's still sitting there in the afternoon, you're picking the kids up from school and, oh shit, it's nearly 5 and I haven't quite done it yet, it's not a good mindset.
No.
Yeah. I want to, because obviously you and I could talk forever about this. So I want people to know where they can go to find out more about you, your group coaching program, because I know you're opening again in September. Is that right? For your 12-month program?
Correct. Yep.
And also you've got the free Facebook group, which I'm in. So let everyone know where they can find you, more about how to work with you, and also just more about your socials and things.
So the best place to find me is on my social media poison of choice, which is Instagram. And you'll find me on my handle at Be Think Do Coaching, which is my company name. And yeah, that's probably the best place to connect with me. Slide into my DM, say hello. My highest value is connection. So I actually love connecting with people. So you're more than welcome to send me a DM and say, hey, let me know what the biggest takeaway is that you've got from this episode. And at the moment, the doors are closed to the Unstoppables. That's my 12-month group coaching program, but they do open in September. You don't want to wait till then. First of all, go on the wait list and then you'll be prompted. If you don't want to wait till then, I do have a signature course called Unstoppable CEO Unleashed, which takes you through the 8 keys to being unstoppable in business. So things like taking ownership and responsibility, boundaries we cover in there, vision, how to embody your goals. I do talk about planning in there because planning is a mindset. It's a strategy for your time management and getting shit done, basically. So, and there is bonuses in there, which there's an incredible hypnosis that I just added in there, which is basically a I am unstoppable hypnosis recording, which is such a brilliant way to start your day, because just listening to that, you'll come out of it like, boom, I'm going to get so much done. You'll be able to eat the frog.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, all it sometimes takes is that. Just sitting with yourself for a little while, just getting shit together. And then, because isn't it? It's amazing when you feel good, your day, it just gets so much better. And I think that we underestimate sometimes the power of actually mindset and actually making sure you're in the right frame of mind. We say it a lot, it's the throwaway thing, isn't it? Oh, I'm in the right frame. But if you really are, you can take on that week and just smash it. And I think the more we can do that, the less overwhelm we might have in our lives, in our businesses. 100%. And we won't be so hard on ourselves sometimes, because I think that's another thing that, well, it comes with guilt, doesn't it? But with the mums in business in particular, we're very hard on ourselves. And I think we need to give ourselves a break sometimes, literally and figuratively, because it's freaking hard out there. And it's nice to have someone in your corner, which is why I think it would be great to check out Em's stuff online, because you are a great supporter of mums in business and generally women in business. And I think that I feel anyway, from having a coach in your corner can really help you progress your business and lose that overwhelm, which is really stops you from growing. And I don't want that for anyone, because life's too short. We want to make impact, and we want to make impact on our own clients. And the more work we do on ourselves, the more we can do that for our clients, and they can do it for their clients. Like you said, pay it forward.
Yes.
It's
a beautiful ripple effect.
Yeah, and I love that saying.
I do have one-to-one coaching available as well, anywhere from, like, you've got your 2-hour session. I do a 2-hour session as well. I used to do just 3 or 6 month packages. And then I realized that there's actually some people that just need that boost in the moment.
You just need someone to say, you know what, maybe this, and this, and how about you do this, and this based on this? And they go, yeah, let's go. Yeah. And you're like, okay.
And then you're unstoppable.
Going forward, I'm always here, but at least you're starting, which is what we said, start. And that's why I agree. The 2-hour sessions sometimes are just all people need to start.
Get going.
And they get overwhelmed by anything longer or bigger, because it feels like a big commitment, mentally as well as sometimes monetarily. So it's nice to just have a little package that helps people. So the more support 100%. We can give people, I love that. So go check Em out online. And if any of those things that she's mentioned are lighting you up, get on there now and get on the wait list for the 12-month coaching as well, because group coaching, because it sounds like everyone's like smashing goals in there. So why not be in the next round? And yes, if you need to see me, you know where I am, at NW_marketing on Instagram. And yeah, Instagram's where everyone is, but I don't know, people are moving and reels are knocking everyone about. So everyone, if you need to get on the email list as well, I know you've got one, I've got one, sign up to email lists, because sometimes who the heavens knows what's happening with social media.
Oh, I know. And there's so many people who've lost their Instagram accounts.
That's what I mean. So I feel like saying, if you do want to support small business, get on their email lists as well. And because, there's some nuggets of gold in emails that go out, don't discount that just for socials. Bit of everything. That's my advice for this end of this podcast. Strategy across all platforms. Don't focus on one, because they can disappear very easily. As we know, when Instagram went down last year, everyone shat themselves. So,
I still have trauma from that day.
Yeah, everyone shat themselves, and you had posts when it went back up saying, join my email list. I have an email list. It's down here, please. All right, Em, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me.
To following you online, and I know you're going live in your Facebook group after this, so I'm sure there'll be some awesome nuggets of knowledge going on there. So thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll be following you on the socials.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.